Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason, speaking to you here in my basement in the great state of Kansas. And I just got done watching Jurassic World Dominion. Got out of the theater, saw it this afternoon. Got home not too long ago. Anyways, so I wanted to get on and kind of give my thoughts on the movie, which I usually don't talk about new movies that come out in theaters and stuff because I usually don't go out to the theater. In fact, this is the only second movie I've seen in the last 2 years in the theater. But I don't know, I just felt like it was the right kind of movie that, the blockbuster, summer blockbuster movie that'd be interested to go see in a movie theater. And since it's not like a Disney product, I don't usually Disney stuff I can just wait until it gets on Disney Plus. But since it's not a Disney product, I thought, well, I better watch it while it's in the theater. I'm gonna have to wait till it gets, on Redbox or something. Yeah, someone saw it. One thing I have to say, like, I haven't been in a movie theater for a while, and only seen two in the last 2 years. And it's kind of my feeling going to the movie theater is that, like, I really don't like going to the movie theater. I kind of established this, like, I don't really like doing this anymore. I used to love going to the movie theater. I used to do it, several times during the summer. Usually it was, when all the really good movies were coming out. And then, it's December, January when all the Oscar movies were coming out a lot of times. And then, of course, there's always some blockbuster Christmas movies. I usually went out and saw those, during that time period. So I used to love going to see what new blockbusters were out and all that. But it's funny, I went and saw it, going to see this movie, and, there's a couple of things that just, made me go, man, I'd rather just be at home. I mean, obviously the first thing is just I went and I had to go fill up for my car with gas, and it cost me like $43 to fill up my car, which used to only cost me like $30, maybe at most. So I was like, oh my gosh, how much money I'm spending on gas is just astronomical. It just floored me when I saw that. I was like, I gotta spend $43 on gas. Like, makes me think like I can't go anywhere anymore. Like, go back to riding bicycles, I guess, or something. And the theater that I go to, the AMC theater I like to go to, is in Kansas City, Kansas, and it's about a 30-minute drive. So it's like I have to fill up a bunch of money on gas, drive all the way over there, spend $10 on a ticket, which still seems expensive to me. Go, gosh, $10 to see this movie. So I was spending over $50 at that point, and I didn't get any popcorn. I usually don't get popcorn and stuff like that. I usually just I like to just enjoy the movie without all that, and all the of course, and it's more expensive that way. But anyways, get to theater, and it wasn't packed really. I picked the back row, was kind of the best seating, and I had a fair amount of people on both sides. And of course, one of the things I noticed, of course, is there's a family comes in. There's like a little girl who's maybe 8 years old, maybe younger, 6 years old. I don't know. She's a little girl comes in. I'm thinking, oh my God, there's a little girl now that's a couple of, seats from me. And like, I didn't really want to have to see this with some little girl, watch this PG-13 movie that's kind of maybe a little scary at times, And I can hear her talking during the previews and stuff. And I'm like, oh man, like this is why I don't go out to the movie theater. It's why I like to stay home by myself and watch movies. And I was watching the trailers, and there's like 10 trailers. I couldn't. After about the fifth trailer, I'm like, okay, surely the fifth trailer, that's the last trailer, and where the movie's gonna start. No, I think there was at least 10 trailers, and I was just like going from trailer to trailer, and they were so terrible. The trailers are like, oh my gosh, made me go, man, movies are just so terrible now from what I was seeing. There's a new Buzz Lightyear movie, which to me does not look interesting at all. There's this weird movie with Idris Elba. Looks like he's a genie maybe, and Tilda Swinton, some old British lady that gets wishes, and it's the weirdest trailer ever. Doesn't make really much sense what's going on. That came on, and that bothered me because it was a rated R movie, and even when it said rated R, and it tells you like why it's rated R, and it was like sexual content, graphic nudity, and I'm thinking, oh my God, like there's this 8-year-old, 6-year-old girl next to me, not next to me, but I can see her not too far from me. I'm thinking, oh my god, now that I'm gonna have to watch this trailer, knowing that there's a little girl not that far from me. And in the trailer, you can see that there's sexual things going on and cursing. Anyway, and then there's a trailer with Brad Pitt called Bullet Train, and he's on a train and he says like the S word and another curse word during the trailer, and he's people getting shot in the trailer. So you're like, there's all this violence and cursing, and I'm thinking, oh my god, like what is this? Little girl. What does she think? And she said there's one part where he punches like uh, this person that's in like a big suit of that looks like a cat or something. I can't explain it very well, but he punches it anyways, and the girl goes, "Oh, he punched the cat person." That's what she got out of the whole thing, and I'm like, okay, well, at least she's not like, oh, what's going on with all this violence and cursing and sex and stuff in these previews? Because most of them are like rated R previews, and then there'd be like these really kid previews, like the Minions, which didn't look that interesting to me. I like the Minion characters. I don't think I'd care for another Minion movie. There was a really terrible trailer of some samurai cat movie, and it was maybe the worst trailer I've ever seen. And I was like, wow, that looks like the worst movie. Just watching the trailer made me go, man, I hate this movie so much. And I just watching the trailer, and I was like, I hate these trailers so much. I just want to get to the movie. My feelings. So I was getting really frustrated just before the movie, going, God, why am I watching these trailers? Thor was like the only like okay trailer, but I've seen it so many times. So, but anyways, sorry, that's enough about that. But I was like watching that, going, gosh, I already felt like before the movie, like I hated the fact that I'm at the movie theater. I'm like, why am I here at the movie theater? Like, this is terrible. Anyways, that's my feeling so far getting to the movies. Anyways, but the movie itself, obviously, sixth movie in the franchise. I've seen all of them in the theater. Obviously, the first Jurassic Park, love it. Just a masterful movie and suspense thriller. Love the characters and all that. I'm actually like Jurassic Park 2 and 3 are actually, I think, very good movies. They have their really good moments and they're really enjoyable in the theater. I'd say Jurassic World, this franchise, the trilogy, the Jurassic World, is not nearly as good as I think its original trilogy. And that's my opinion. Jurassic World, the first one was like okay, had some interesting moments, had a new dinosaur, some exciting, chase stuff. And I love Chris Pratt. I think it was great, bringing him in. But it was just like, okay. Second movie, second movie still had its moments too, I would say. They're trapped in like this mansion, and there's like this kind of raptor on steroids dinosaur that's chasing them. I mean, the reason why you watch Jurassic World, is see humans get chased by dinosaurs, and you want to see really good chase scenes. That's what you're hoping for the most. And of course, by the time you get 6-1, you're like, okay, I've seen enough dinosaurs chasing human beings. What else can we do that's interesting? The novelty definitely wears off pretty quick by the time we get to the sixth movie, I think. And I say, I don't know, I feel like the Jurassic World movies are just, the dinosaurs don't scare me at all. And that was kind of the whole point of making, I forgot to turn my ring light on. There we go. Part of the reason of doing, the Jurassic Park movies is to be scared by the dinosaurs. And I don't find myself being scared at all. Like, I still think of that, and it's different because when I watched the first Jurassic Park movie in 1993, when I was 10 years old, of course, it scared me to the bone to see T-Rex come out that was pinned and start, terrorizing them. And to see the two raptors in the kitchen looking at trying to look for the kids that are hiding. Man, those really scared me. Of course, like I said, I was 10 years old, and it was kind of a novelty thing. It was a fresh thing to see dinosaurs for the first time looking that real. And they really looked real. And I was, like, oh my God, this really immersed me into the movie. I watched Jurassic World, these three movies. All the dinosaurs looked like totally CGI, computer generated. And so they don't look real. I never think, oh, anybody's in danger. I think these dinosaurs aren't real. They're just computer animated, things, I guess. That's my feeling. So I was like, not having the practical dinosaurs like the first movie kind of takes away the fear factor for me. Like, I never was scared ever. There's some jump scares, and I knew when they're coming. Like, when they're about to come, I'm like, oh, there's gonna be a dinosaur jumping out, and yep, sure enough, it jumped out. And so it kind of startles you, but I was like not really totally frightened, and that's part of the fun of the movie. So I don't know. They're never gonna be as good as that first Jurassic Park. Is the unfortunate part, but they make money, so they're keeping making these movies until as long as they can make money, as they will. But I say overall, like I didn't hate the movie Jurassic World Dominion, but I didn't like it really that much either. It's kind of like blah in the middle. Like, why did we need this movie? What was the purpose of it? I mean, the only thing that excited me about seeing the movie and why I saw it in theaters is when I saw the trailer and I saw Laura Dern, Sam Neill, Jeff Goldblum, three of the original, kind of actors in the first movie made almost 30 years ago. To see those three characters come back into the Jurassic World, was interesting to me. And I was like, oh man, I'd love to see these three characters because I love the first one so much. I'd love to see these three characters come back in, integrated with the new characters from this new franchise, or new trilogy, and see the interaction between them. I thought it would be an interesting idea, I guess. And there's enough nostalgia factor there for me that I went and saw it because I was like, I like to see these three characters again, in the Jurassic era, Jurassic World era. Anyways, but I would say overall, like I said, you do get your dinosaurs chasing people, but nothing that really, there wasn't a chasing that really excited me too much. I think the best scene in the movie, and I'm just spoiling some plot points maybe in the movie, but the best scene was there, like in Malta, which is Italy, and there's a whole raptor chase scene where both Claire and played by Bryce Dallas Howard, and then the Chris Pratt character, I'm forgetting his name, they're being chased by all these raptors, and he's on a motorcycle, and so that was actually a pretty exciting raptor chase scene overall, and a little maybe new dynamic because they're in the streets of like this Italian city or whatever, and so that gave it a little bit of something different. But it was just like it could have just been not raptors, just anybody chasing them. But of course, in this case, it's dinosaurs, of course. But that was the most exciting scene in the movie. Nothing else was too, and they bring in like new dinosaurs, I guess, but they're not like the scary hydro dinosaurs like in the other two, where they crossed a couple different scary dinosaurs together. They're interesting, but nothing really super scary or new to me. I guess like, oh, in fact, like when you watch it, and it's funny when you watch so many times, they're just kind of the whole part of the movie is that dinosaurs are in the world and we have to cohabitate with these dinosaurs, and how is that? And that's an interesting idea. Like, how do we live with dinosaurs? What would that look like in the real world? And just funny to watch like people like just seeing a dinosaur and just being like, oh, it's a dinosaur. There's no wow factor because it's just like an everyday thing. There's dinosaurs everywhere, so it's kind of like, that's weird to me. It's like, because to me, I'm thinking, man, I'd be so like, what a dinosaur, like that would just shock me every time I saw one, I would think. But I guess if you see them all the time, it's just the shock factor is not there anymore. Now again, that's part of the fun of Jurassic Park, is the shock factor of seeing a dinosaur, and that kind of goes away with this movie, especially raptors were so scary in the first movie, and this one's like you see raptors all the time just running around, and it's like, oh, it's a raptor, like no one seems as scared as they were before, in my opinion. So that loses some of the fun factor of the movie a little bit to me, in that sense. I think it's the weakest of the Jurassic World movies. I would say the last two, I think, were a little more funner and a little better plot wise. I thought this one's a little bit weak in that sense, and it was a little slow moving too. I feel like it took a while for the action to start, and there's maybe some excitement there. I thought overall, like, and there were scenes where like there was no dinosaurs and just humans running around and humans talking, and I forgot that it was a dinosaur movie until a dinosaur showed up, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot there's dinosaurs in this movie, because it felt like there was long periods where there's no dinosaurs, and I was like, I'm more interested in the dinosaurs than the people. I want to see more dinosaurs eating people or chasing people. That's what I want to see. And I don't know, so sometimes, I mean, there is that, but sometimes it didn't feel like there's enough of it, or there's too much time in between. I don't know. Just the whole thrill factor wasn't there for me, but that's the way it's been for all the Jurassic World movies, in my opinion. And like I said, I love the fact that they bring the three actors from the original movie, and I thought that would be the fun part of the movie, and I felt like they weren't really kind of underwritten in the movie, and they get a fairly big part in it, especially Sam Neill and Laura Dern kind of have their own plot in the movie, that they're almost two separate like plots, them, and then there's the Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard plot. Anyway, so you kind of edit or kind of go back and forth between those two until they meet, and then the whole movie at the end is just them two, or those two plots together, kind of in a way. And I don't know I thought there'd be this big moment when like I said, the Sam Neill, Jeff Goldblum, and Laura Dern characters meet, the first time. I thought this would be kind of a great moment. I mean, the only thing I really love about that is that when they get together, they always start playing the Jurassic Park theme, dun 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 dun, and I love that theme so much. So when they get together, at least they play that theme, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's like, man, I love that theme so much. Like I want more of that Jurassic Park theme. And so anytime they play that theme, it just kind of hits you where my nostalgic, heart is. And I just like, oh, I think back to that first movie, how much I love it when I first saw it. Anyways, and so I like that, but I feel like there wasn't enough like funny banter between the three, especially Jeff Goldblum, whose Ian Malcolm character was my favorite character from the first movie. And he was such almost like a comedy relief character in some ways. He was really funny in the first movie. I thought there was a lot of good funny banter in the first movie. And there's of course a good comparison, or what do you call it, between Ian Malcolm, and then he's kind of, I don't know, a little strange, and Jeff Goldblum has that great, strange cadence to how he talks that fits so well with the character. And he kind of dresses like a rock star, as they say. He's chaos theory. And compare him to Sam Neill character, which now I'm forgetting the name of. He's more of a serious guy, and not very family oriented. Doesn't like kids. Just a very serious guy. And so comparing those two together is what's so great about that first movie. And so you get them together and they kind of play on that, but not enough. I feel like I want to see more of that contrast. That's what I'm looking for, the contrast between those two characters. And I don't know, Jeff Goldblum, he didn't really feel like Ian Malcolm in this movie. Like, I feel like he forgot how to play that role, because as he was doing the role, I was just like, oh, it's just Jeff Goldblum. I didn't feel like I ever thought, oh yeah, this is Ian Malcolm from the first movie. I forgot. It just felt like Jeff Goldblum playing a random character to me in the movie. So I wish he would have played that character up more like the original and been more funnier, I think, and maybe that's because it's just not very good writing in the movie, and should have more funnier, wittier lines during the movie. I thought it should have been some more funny banter between him and the Sam Neill character. In fact, the whole movie, I feel like it was lacking humor. Like, I don't think I really laughed hardly at all during the whole movie. Maybe a chuckle here and there, but like there was nothing like real funny. And I really loved that about the first movie, especially like one of my favorite lines from that first movie is when they're going through the park and they don't see any dinosaurs, and Ian Malcolm looks at the camera where Hammond is looking at it, and he says, "Are there any dinosaurs in this dinosaur park?" or something like that. And it's an absolutely hilarious line, and the way he does it, and it's like we don't get those lines in this one. So maybe not as good writing, not as good directing as, of course, Colin Trevorrow, the director, is no Spielberg. What can you say? So it's not quite directed as well as that first one, and not written, I think, quite as well either. And the plot that I don't care for is that it's kind of, I don't know if I say it's spoilers, but it's kind of one of the main plot points is not really about the dinosaurs so much as it's about they bring in these locusts that they've genetically, I don't know, they put dino DNA in them or something, and they make these genetic locusts that are like huge. They're like this big. They're, like a cat or something, size of a cat or whatever. They're just huge, and they're scary because there's like hundreds of them get together and they swarm you. Yeah, they can kill people, and they're eating all of the world's crops. And so we're kind of looking at this like we're all going to starve to death because the locusts are eating all the food. That's kind of the big plot point, not the dinosaurs. It's these giant locusts. And that was weird to go, oh, like now I'm supposed to be scared of these giant locusts. And we do a lot with the giant locusts, and like, oh, we need to figure out how to solve this giant locust problem. And that was weird to me because I'm like, who cares about the giant locusts? I want dinosaurs. But I guess we've done so much dinosaurs, we had to come up with something else. But I don't know. So I would have done away with the old giant locust plot and just been like, and I don't know what they were going to do, but they're going to have to figure out some way to explain how do we live with dinosaurs. And I don't know if they really explain that. I mean, they kind of come up with this. They come up with this like this area in Italy, this forested area where they're bringing dinosaurs to live in that area, I guess, or maybe there's no humans. And I guess maybe the idea is to get the dinosaurs in that area and try to isolate them from everybody. I don't know. And then the ones that don't, we just have to live with the fact that there's, dinosaurs that can kill us at any moment. Which to me, I don't know. I'd have a hard time living with that idea that a raptor could kill me when I walk outside my house. But it kind of ends with just, I guess, like, well, I guess there's nothing we can do. We just have to live with the fact that there's dinosaurs, and I guess that's what else can you do? Either you have to kill them all or say, I guess we're living with dinosaurs. And what kind of problems does that make, And they're probably making more movies, I guess, around that. But I don't know. At the end of the movie, I kind of felt like, oh, like when it ended, I was like, oh, that's the end? Like, that's all? Like, what was the point of this movie? Like, I kind of like, I don't know if we didn't make this movie, I don't think there was any need to make this movie except to make money, I suppose, for the people who made it, obviously. And you go to see it just to have some fun, and I think mostly people will probably have fun watching it because, like I said, you want to watch dinosaurs chasing people, and have fun with that, then yeah, you'll have some fun watching that in this movie. In that case, it's like, yeah, it's an okay movie to go see, I think, in the theater. It's probably not one I'll watch ever again, by myself anyways. Maybe if I'm with people and they want to watch it, I'd watch it, but it's not a movie that I would like be dying to go out and see personally. So I give it kind of in the middle, like, I don't know, yeah, go see it because it's a big blockbuster movie, but I wouldn't put too much in, I wouldn't put your expectations too high to go see this movie, in my opinion. But anyways, I feel like I said, I'm trying going off my head here from watching the movie, but I guess overall I'll just say it's kind of a blah, who cares movie, but that'd be my rating on it. So yeah, so that's me, my opinion on Jurassic World Dominion. So feel free. It just came out, I think, maybe the other day, so feel free to comment if you've seen it or what you think about it if you've seen it. If I'm way off in what I'm saying, whatever. Maybe it was better than I'm saying it is, but yeah, feel free to comment there, and just thank you for watching the video and for liking it, and just thank you to all subscribers for supporting the channel. I appreciate you, and have a good day.